Hello and welcome back to another video. Welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. We're going for the Manufacturers Cup again today. Round 3. Of course we are with Nissan during this exhibition series, so we'll see what we can do on our second account as we go down the order here. Now you want to keep your eye on Chris, who started in P2, my fellow Brit, one of the saltiest players I've ever raced against. You'll see why during the course of this race. As you can see, you haven't seen my car yet, as we are quite far down the grid, messing up qualifying once again. And there we are, starting in P12. So we have a lot of work to do. But I did have a strange and maybe a little bit unorthodox strategy for this race. So keep your eye out for that. I will explain as the race goes on. So getting ready for the start of the race here. But now would be a great time for you to hit the like button if you are enjoying the content, and subscribe so that you never miss a video. But now let's focus on the race and see how far up we can get. And away we go. Keep it nice and clean into turn 1. That's always the first priority. Of course, we are starting on the hard tyres. We had to use the hard and the mediums. 6-lap race. And it is relatively all calm going into turn 1. Which is one of the rare occasions on Gran Turismo 7. And then it all goes wrong in turn 2 as we go for the lunge. I think the other Nissan there coming off second best for that lunge. Just give us a little bit of a punt there. And we get another tap, and there's 2 cars spun in the barrier there. So we're up into P9. We just get shoved out of the way by that Mercedes there. I think he was really adamant that he was coming through. Well, we don't need to fight too much. Of course, we are on an alternative strategy to everybody else in this race. But we managed to hold on to P9. So not a bad start to this race. You see an NSX there, getting all sorts of squirrely through that corner. That's going to put us up into P8. Coming through the last corner here, we get a bit of a wiggle there. It's not going to help our tyre life. But this is where our strategy diverges from everybody else. We're going to come in after lap 1. We're going to choose a set of mediums. And we're going to come back out 10 seconds of the guy in 15. So a good reasonable gap ahead, lots of fresh air. We're on the medium tyres. Let's push and see how far we can get. Didn't take too long into lap 3 before we got a yellow flag. As we come round the corner here and we see the GTR recovering from a spin. So that's one position already. And as we fast forward to the end of lap 3, we've got another yellow flag here. That's another GTR, so that's another position for us. So up into 14th. So the strategy was 1 lap on the hard tyres, about 8 laps on the mediums and then 7 on another set of mediums. So we're going for a 2-stop strategy, which I haven't seen anybody else do, so I thought I'd give it a go. Of course, we are going to be incredibly quick. So moving on to lap 5 now, we catch up with this train of cars. We go past one, not too difficult. We also have the fastest lap of the race at this point. Also got a couple of consistently fast laps. That's really going to help with our overall race time. We catch back up with the Mercedes that we was battling with before, down in 12th, so they've had a bit of a rough time about it. Go a little bit deep, but we are on the medium tyres, so we're going to get the better traction. So we can move on up into 12th position. Focus on trying to catch the car ahead. You see, it's all kind of spread out here, so this is good for us, so we can just focus on one car at a time. The worst part of this strategy would be coming up against people that are fighting, and it's really difficult to overtake one or both of them. So we're going to go up into P11 at the start of lap 6. Now we can just focus on the Ferrari up ahead. And then another Nissan GTR just in front of that. So let's hopefully dispatch of this Ferrari nice and quick. Just trying to put him off here. We know he's on the hard tyres, so we know we have the better traction. Just trying to force him into a mistake here. He does get a little bit squiggly on the exit, so we're going to go straight on through. That's us up into P10. We have a 2.6 second gap to the Nissan up ahead. And we're going to fast forward here to the middle section of lap 7, where we have managed to catch up with the Nissan. Slowly reeling him in, but you can see there in our lap times, catching up with traffic, we lost 2 seconds on lap 5. So that's really hurting us. We need to get past these people quicker. As we come to the start of lap 8, see quite a few people in the pits there. That's another 4 positions for us. And to the end of lap 9, where I just make a slight mistake there. Our tyres are dead. I probably should have pitted on the lap before, but that means we're going to lose 1 position to the Porsche, who I believe is on, I want to say, hard tyres at this point. And we get a hurry up from the Mustang right behind. So we're going to come in for our pits now. Of course, going straight back onto a set of mediums, which should be good for the end of the race. Back out in P12. So at the minute we haven't gained any positions and we haven't lost any positions. But as we fast forward here to the end of lap 10, we're going to gain another position from the NSX, who made a similar mistake to the one he made before. I think he went off twice now at that corner. So we're up into P11. Is there going to be anybody pitting off the hard tyres? Yes, there is. So we're in P11. We're going to go up to P8, so that's 3 positions. And as we come to the start of lap 12, just setting a new personal best, or a new fastest lap record, catching up with these two Porsches who were in an almighty battle, this is kind of where my race just stopped. I wasn't able to get past these guys at all. So we've got Chris on the hard tyres, I do believe, and the TCR driver on medium tyres. However, it is really difficult to overtake at Autopolis, and they're both in the same car. Chris is a slightly better driver than the TCR driver, but the TCR driver does have the better tyres. And we just get a bit of a knock there into the braking zone. That's going to fire us into Chris. Now, I do pull over and let them both pass. We don't want to gain an advantage. I could have just carried on, but I didn't really feel like that was fair on both of them, even though TCR driver is the one that punted us. We're going to let them both through, and we're just going to resume where we left off. So yeah, they kind of equaled themselves out, and I felt like I was at least a bit faster than both of them. However, I couldn't go for the move on the TCR driver because he was always going for the move on Chris. So they were kind of both in my way. As you can see there, we're losing around about 3 seconds being stuck behind this fight. And of course my tyres were dying. We get the run here on the TCR driver. I'm gonna try and go for the lunge, get it stopped and get a bit of a slide, but he's gonna shove it up the inside, shove us wide. That's gonna be a theme of this video. A lot of shoving wide, as we give him a little tap there, not too much. And because we're not hugging the apex here, he's going to shove it up the inside. But we do make the position work. So we're up into P7. We're going to block there, make sure the TCR driving doesn't get back through. So now we should just be able to focus on getting past Chris. We've already dispatched one Porsche. Now we just need to work on the other Porsche. So this was the guy that started in P2. So he's obviously a bit angry about his current position. We're pulling right up onto the back here. He is on the hard tyres, because of course he did start on the mediums. So we're right on the back now. Try and go around the outside. Try and get the move done before the braking zone. However, Chris is just going to use me as a brake and just shove me right out of the way. So we're going to go back behind the TCR driver. And as you can see, this was all just very, very messy driving. Both from the TCR driver, a little bit from myself, but mainly from Chris. He was adamant on defending that 6th position. He obviously promised his mother that he would be finishing in 6th. But we're going to try and take it off him. Still a long way to go in this race. Try and get the switcheroo on the TCR driver. There is a little bit of a gap towards the Porsche up in front. So we do manage to get it stopped, but he's going to get the cutback. And also a little tap for good measure. This to show is way past. Coming into this last technical section where I should have the upper hand on both of the drivers. I think the TCR driver did pit before me, so he should have worse tyres than I have. And we are getting caught up by the NSX behind, which is a slight worry. trying to get the run here out of the last corner. Now we're waiting to get slipstream until the very last second here, so we can get that extra overspeed. Going to fire up the inside. There is no contact, as Chris runs a little bit wide there as well. So we're going to try up the inside here, and Chris turns in on me for no apparent reason, which means I have to back out. And at this point I was desperate, so I went for the lunge. Really didn't work, and Chris decides to try and take us out. So now Chris has lost 3 positions, I've lost 2, but Chris is not finished there. So as we're going up the hill, you might want to keep your eye on that rear view mirror, as we get it slowed down, get it turned in, and boom! Chris came for a flying visit. So I hope it was worth it, Chris. Try and send me a postcard on your trip. But we're going to fast forward now to the end, or the middle section of the last lap, as it's all getting a bit feisty up here. Of course we are in exactly the same position we was before. We have the NSX, which I believe is on hard tyres, and the TCR driver, who is on very, very worn medium tyres, but still can't find a way past. So we just have to sit back and watch. Hopefully, as they're battling on the last lap, there should be a mistake or 2. But you can really see my lap times since we caught up with this pair. I was lapping in the 145s consistently, and then I caught up with these 2 Porsches, and my lap times was 147s, 148s, and then 150s. So really losing a lot of time. I think I could have got up into P5, as the NSX loses control there, ended up punting him off, and I thought we was going to get a penalty. Luckily we didn't. That would have been a typical Gran Turismo 7 penalty. So we're going to come home in P7. Not a bad result, but it could have been so much better. But that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.